Hey everybody, it's a beautiful May day and Mrs. Dudley here with my buddy Duane Harmon. We are at the 5-acre site on Constantine. Lots of people have been talking about the 19 lots that are going to be developed. We heard from Jim Beakey about that, Dale Mallory, Pete Whitty, Charles Tassel. You know, we're getting all of the players together here. And Mr. Harmon is by no means the least, even though he's one of the last that we have to interview. So tell us a little bit about yourself, Duane.
Okay, Mary, I was born here in Cincinnati, Ohio in 1958. I was born in an area called the West End down by Crossley Field. I went to elementary school at Sands Elementary, went to Bloom Junior High School, graduated from Taft High School. After that, I was caught in between college and the business. And about 6 months after I graduated from high school, my grandmother gave me a little money and I had a little store called D&D Deli. I ran that store for about 5 years and then I was hired by the Board of Education. I went back to work from the school I graduated from, Taft High School. I worked as assistant athletic director and a security person. I worked there from 80 to 95. In 95, they say I retired, but they forced me out the door. In 95, I started a nonprofit. At that time, it was called Cincinnati Triple Threat, which was not a very attractive name for people when you're asking for money. And after that, we changed it to Youth Hope Cincinnati. And now we have over 3,000 kids that we've had contact over 20 years in our program.
Oh my gosh,
Yeah.
wow.
Yeah.
Wow. That's great. What inspired you to go into the nonprofit world?
Well, I was working at Taft, and I was running the stadium, and I was doing a lot of things that the school couldn't do with students. So in 94, before the year they forced me out, my wife and my boss said, you need to get you a nonprofit because there's a lot of things that you do for the kids that you can't do it through the school. Mm-hmm. So after they forced me out the door, I went and got a 501c3. I took my retirement money, and here we are now with Youth Hope Cincinnati.
That's wonderful.
Yeah.
So why are we here on this particular piece of ground right now?
Well, about 4 years ago, I reunited with my buddy Dale Mallory. Dale was ending his term as state rep, and I went over his house, and we talked about things. He said, Wayne, what do you think? I said, Dale, well, you know, you done enough up in Columbus. We from downtown. It is the time right now that you and I need to do to create something for the kids in the community. Give them an opportunity like we had an opportunity when we were growing up. So we took a look at the Beakey Mallory grant that was written through Central State. Going around to the schools, went on top of Rothenberg, went other places, seeing what was going on. So at that time, Dale said, well, Duane, we need to get our own started. And from there, we're here.
Awesome.
Just working with different peoples. The agriculture department, I went up to Columbus, met with them, met with State Rep Beakey, met with Terry from USDA, and it's been a beautiful collaboration. And Mary, let me share something with you. When I was a kid in the kindergarten, I remember we took a little plant home for Mother's Day. Mm-hmm. And I'll never forget that, Mary, because that was a highlight in my life when I could look back. What better way could you go home and give your mother a plant on Mother's Day? So plants come from growing.
Yeah.
Agriculture includes growing. Not only plants, we talk about tomatoes, vegetables, feeding people.
Yeah.
This is probably the best thing that happened to me. I'm 62 years old now. I had a lot of things that happened. But where I can see the future for our kids who are sometimes struggling in life, this could definitely be a safe haven for those kids. Yeah, some of the things I think about too, Mary, is I always remember when I grew up, there was always seniors around. We didn't call them senior citizens. They were just seniors because they were older. This is a land where we can bring the seniors, the babies, the moms, the granddad, where we can bring the whole community together and we can have an effect, a total effect on the kids' lives by letting the village raise the kids. It's something that we need to go back to because as we can see the results that we're getting right now, we need to make a change. Yeah. But there is hope.
Yeah. Awesome.
There is hope.
All right, well, let's go for a little bit of a walk. We are here on Considine.
Considine.
And we're here with Duane Harmon. We are going to take a little walk around this beautiful property and learn more about how we can get involved with FFA and bringing 4-H students onto the property. Let's go for a walk, Duane.
All righty.
So when did we first get access to this property?
Well, a year ago, we had access to it, but we had to get some legal ramifications as far as insurance, getting a contract signed from Cincinnati Metropolitan over to Youth Hope. So 1 year ago.
Okay.
1 year ago.
Great. And then who's taking care of the mowing right now?
Right now, Cincinnati Metropolitan Housing, this is their property.
Okay.
We're going to have a 3-year lease. Then after that, hopefully an extension forever after we build the 4-H and FFA foundation right here.
That's awesome. It's a really big piece of ground. We've got some nice hills, and gosh, it's just a gorgeous day. Now we've got this little wooded land in the back here.
Well, this wooded land on the construction, they're going to clear all of this out along the back of the houses, which you're going to have a clear path. And if you take a look at when we send you the model for it, we're going to have like a senior citizen, like a little senior citizen park down here.
Really?
For the seniors. Where we'll put seats around and picnic tables, where just an area for the seniors.
Oh, that's wonderful.
And that reason is, Mary, because we're coming into this community and these people live here, so we want to get them included in on everything that we're doing up here.
Well, that's great. So you've talked to the neighbors.
Yes, we talked to neighbors. We talked to some key people in the community. Pete Whitty. We talked with the Boys and Girls Club. We talked with Cincinnati Recreation. We're talking with some of the community groups on the west side of town, because we want them to not think that we're coming in to take over their land. We want them to know that we want them on their land with us.
Yes.
This.
Yes. Awesome.
One of the ideas we're going to have, we talked with somebody about taking the edge of the 5 acres and putting a track in.
Oh.
So that it'll be open to the community. If they want to come in the morning, they want to take a walk around the 5 acres, they're more than happy to come in and take a walk in the morning. We've talked to a program called ABC with the public school system, who wants to combine with us and come in here and put activities in here so that we can keep the kids busy.
Okay.
So it's a collaboration of lots of people to make this small piece of land work. We're working with another nonprofit organization called the Q Kids. Those young ladies dance. They go across the world performing, like the New Orleans, what is that, the Mardi Gras?
Yeah.
They perform a lot of Thanksgiving Day parades, and they're part of the youth that are in the inner city program that we want to help bring them all together.
Oh, wonderful. Oh my gosh, you're talking to so many organizations.
Yeah, well, I've learned, Mary, in this business, when you're dealing with kids, it takes the village.
Yes.
To put a good product together. So we don't want to exclude anyone. Anyone that wants to be a part of this positive program, we're wide open for.
That's great.
In one of these areas, Mary, I think it's right over here, Model Homes is going to be building a new project. So we're looking forward to collaborating with those people in those houses and letting those people know this is here for them too. So I think we got the right spot here, Mary.
I think so too. This is great. And so you're saying, do seniors live in this apartment complex over here?
Some seniors, some adults. I can't tell you exactly which building, but there are seniors.
Okay.
And then there are families in it.
Okay.
Now, most of these houses over behind here are residential houses. People been living there for years, Mary. We talked to some of the neighbors over there. Some of them been there 15, 20, 30 years, living on that same street over there.
Oh, that's
so we
wonderful.
definitely want to make them feel at home. We want to make them feel like we're coming in to take over their land, because this is their land.
Yeah. Now, how are we going to keep it secure? What's your guys' plan on security?
Metropolitan's going to put a fence up
Okay.
for us, and Dale and I just talked about that. It's going to be accessible. We're probably going to put a combination lock on there so that whoever's using it, we won't have to worry about keys, and we can get in and out. But the idea of this is Metropolitan wants to keep this a safe, clean area. This area at one time was being used for all kind of activities, and we want to turn that activity around and make it positive activity, what we got going on.
Nice. So with your background in athletic directing, I bet you've got all sorts of ideas. You told us a little bit about the track.
Right, track. And man, there's a lot of things we could do about here. Once this land get going, we might have a softball game with the mud softball. We might have dodgeball. We're gonna have volleyball. Whatever activity that we can create to keep the kids busy from being out here on the streets doing things that they shouldn't be doing, we're gonna do it here. If it's jacks, checkers, bat and ball, hula, whatever it takes, we're gonna try to do it here for the kids.
I love it. I love it. So students, as we're walking around, I really want you to think about the possibilities. I know this can seem a little overwhelming, but if you start small, so for example, you've got this fence line right here, and right here, it looks like we've got kind of an overgrown patch with some honeysuckle. You guys know how to cut down honeysuckle. We've been working on that. You know, it just takes a couple of steps to get started. So we can dream big, we can start small. You've got this little kind of clump over here, and it looks like, you know, you want to keep those big trees so you have some shade, but maybe cutting down the undergrowth so that you can sit underneath it, put a table there, have a little picnic. That'd be great. What are some of your favorite plants to grow?
Actually, Mary, I love the sunflower.
Okay.
I think it's just beautiful. I even had a pleasure when it goes down taking the seeds and browning them or whatever. I like the pumpkin seeds a little better.
Yes.
Don't get mad, sunflower. But I like the pumpkin seeds.
Don't worry, I won't tell the sunflower.
Yeah, and Mary, roses is always a beautiful flower. I always look at it, you know, you're always giving it to somebody, but it's a beautiful flower, just period.
Yeah.
And I think kids should be able to touch and grow some of the things that they see and really don't know where it comes from.
Yes.
Because you can ask kids sometime, hey, where you think that come from? We want to stop that.
Yeah.
We want them to be able to tell us where it grows at. We want your kids to be able to identify the trees, the leaves, like Dale. I'm not there yet. I'm getting there. I can tell you about some trees, but not all of them, though.
Well, that's what I can tell you. These are mulberries right here behind you.
Thanks, Mary.
You're welcome. They've got that glossy leaf, so it's kind of shiny. And, you know, it's kind of an overlooked food source. I think a lot of people don't pay attention to it because it's common and it's kind of a weedy tree. It grows really fast. But if you collect the mulberries on a good season, you can make jam out of that. It's delicious.
Well, your students have made some stuff that I ate over at the school. Was it jelly or something?
Yes, they made strawberry jam. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I took that bottle home, Mary.
Good. Did you? Oh, that's great. Yeah, we had a few students working on that project. That was definitely a favorite. Wow. So this is a nice flat space. Is this where you're thinking about putting the high tunnels?
Yeah, high tunnels, and then we're going to have a very little lovely area over here where we want to put maybe some of our people, if they want to have a little marriage in here.
Oh.
Family thing. And then we're going to have possibly have a stage in here where we can do little talent shows, open mic.
Yes.
Safe heaven. Right here. I'm feeling it.
I'm feeling it.
I'm feeling it.
That's wonderful.
And Mary, one of the things I've learned dealing with agriculture is growing these products can get you a good job. If you stay at it in school, you can go to Central State, you can go to Ohio State, you can become an ag teacher. If that's not enough money for you, you can go into the food workforce.
Mm-hmm.
JTM, Cisco, all kind of companies. You can make all kind of money.
Yeah.
I just think it's something that kids can take advantage of, than having that dream of going to the NFL or the NBA or the major leagues. Don't stop that dream, but everybody can't make it, so you got to have another option.
True. So right here is this beautiful big evergreen. It's got a little bit of congestion around it. We've got some honeysuckle and there's another mulberry growing into it. But we will continue to think about that project and how we can turn that into a really beautiful centerpiece for this property. We've enjoyed a wonderful walk through this 5-acre site, and I can't wait to bring you guys out here. Before we say goodbye to Mr. Harmon, I want to ask him one more thing. So, Mr. Harmon, our cycle theme for the end of the school year is legacy. Can you tell us a little bit about what you think your legacy will be and what steps are you taking to make your legacy a reality?
Well, I think when I was born, my legacy was to deal with kids. Because when I was born by a lady who dealt with kids and dealt with the community all her life. What I would like to leave behind is something that kids can relate to, can persevere with, and be successful in life. So when I say leaving my legacy, I want to leave things like this. Leave youth hope. Leave a lawn care company. Leave a bakery. I want kids to become entrepreneurs and self-motivated people in life. In order for me to do this, I have to work on my own life with my wife, who I've been married to for 30 years. We've been together 33, and I always want to give her credit for allowing me to fulfill my dream. Like I mentioned to you earlier, Mary, I worked in the system from 80 to 95, and in 95, the Lord chose another route for me. And this route is for me to leave this legacy, to just leave something for the kids to grasp from, that they can learn from, and make it better than it is now.
That's great. And I like that you included the support of your wife and how that has made this possible for you.
Yeah, I used to hear all those saying, happy wife, happy life. It's true. Happy wife, happy life. And man, I've grown up around where the family is so important. You know, you leave your house and you go out and do what you do in life, but if you can't come back home and discuss and talk about it and have your family to be included in what you're doing out in life, sometimes it's tough. But I've been blessed because I got a wife and I've got a family and I got a village that helped raise me, that's continued to push me to help raise the kids in this village.
And for people that are having a hard time, I know especially right now, being so close to their family and thinking like, oh, I just can't wait to get away from them. And they're kind of struggling in some respects to, have that family bond. But your family can also be, you can choose your family in some ways too. And I think that that's something that I've noticed in our short time of knowing each other is that you expand your family to include your neighbors. And when you see someone in need, you include them. And so it's encouraging to know that, even if your nuclear family might not be the best choice for you or just where you might see your future, you can have those familial bonds.
Have other choices.
Yes.
You can have other choices.
Yes.
A lot of things I find out with, and I'm sharing this with you, Mary, once I talk to the kids and find out that the environment they're in is a lot of times the causes for their reactions, I try to teach them how to make that a positive environment, how to take the positive things out of it, leave the negative things there, and create your own little world, your own stability in life. And I think that's some of the things that the kids are missing in school now because they don't have that foundation. Mm-hmm. And we're here to help build that foundation.
All right. Thanks, buddy.